story began 4 years ago when I came down to Brick Lane one Sunday morning and walking up and down the streets, and there's 20,000 people walking up and down Brick Lane every Sunday because there's various different markets. And as I was walking along, there were Muslims out on the street evangelizing, there's people doing tarot card reading. And what really struck me was there's no Christian witness. Everyone is in church on a Sunday morning. And it's not that there's a problem with that, but the sense where this is the people that are on Brick Lane are people in their 20s and their 30s, what we consider the dying generation of the church. I was thinking about how do we actually take the church out into this community rather than trying to think about how these people will come into the church. People tend to share life in coffee shops. If you've got a problem and you're going through something in life and you phone up a friend and say, hey, we need to talk, they say, okay, let's go for a coffee. So the vision then became about opening a cafe on Brick Lane where people can gather to have community, and at the centre of that is a faith community that is building relationships and building community for the purpose of sharing the good news of Jesus Christ. Finally, we managed to get a property, and it needed a huge amount of work doing to it. We needed to take off the whole shop front, and we needed to take out 20 centimetres of concrete throughout the whole place. The roof at the back was collapsing, so we needed to take the whole roof off. So it was a huge task, and initially there was a team of us who just came in and just did the hard labour, but we began to discover that it was, such a great space. And as we cleared it out, as we took the roof off, then we began to shape it and mould it into the kind of environment where we really feel people would love to come and relax and be in. In total, to get this project off the ground, we ended up needing over £100,000, and I suppose if we'd have looked at that in the beginning and think, how are we going to raise £100,000, we probably would have got a bit disheartened and given up. But people began to get behind it. But the other thing is, we were saying that, hey, we wanted to be one of the best coffee shops in London. So we were saying, we want to set our standards really high. And I think people really want to get behind that. They go, yeah, we want to do excellence. We want to strive for the best. And in that, people said, we love that vision. We want to get behind it. We want to support it. And so we did. It was amazing how within 6 weeks we raised £60,000. And then from that, the London Baptist Association gave us money, New Wine gave us money towards setting up this project. So I think the key thing is about giving people a vision that's bigger than themselves, and how you communicate that, but also strive for excellence. That's really important. People often ask me the question, how is it church, and what do you do as a church? Now, Sundays is the busiest day on Brick Lane, so we're not going to close the doors and just be open for a church service. So we go out onto the streets and we pray around the area, we get talking to people. There's loads of different ways in which you can just enjoy getting to know people in Brick Lane. Because Sunday is when 20,000 people are here, so we want to go and engage them. So therefore we have a church service on a Wednesday evening. And that's when the gathered faith community comes together. Father, we say that we love you, and we come here this evening because we want to encounter you afresh.
I got baptised in Kahaila, so it's actually become a really special place in my walk with Christ. I've been here a year now. I started when it first got set up, and I was looking for a church at the time. But what it's done for me is it's hardened my walk with Christ. It's made me a stronger Christian. Just built up a strength and a closer relationship with Jesus, which made me come to the realization that to make the next step, I needed to be baptized, and I really needed to just confirm and broadcast my love for Christ. And I believe Kahaila was very much at the forefront and at the beginning of that walk with Christ. And now I just want to take it a step further and see where Kahaila takes me and where I go from here in my walk with Jesus.
The core team of the church is about 25 people, and we also often have between 10 and 15 visitors each week, and some of them are people who have experience of church in the past, but for one reason or another have stopped going, and so they're kind of maybe what we define as de-churched. We also have a number of people who are customers of the cafe, who are intrigued by the fact that we're a church, who come and visit and see what it's like, and so we've had a number of people come through that way as well. ever since day one, really, the cafe has just gone so well. Within the first 18 months, we were able to clear all of our overheads of interest-free loans that we had, which is an amazing testimony of God's grace to us, but also thinking about the importance of running a business. Because for us, if the business failed, the mission failed. Because if all of a sudden we're not making money, we don't have the funds to keep the mission going. If we have to close the cafe, we have to close the mission. We want to focus on every area of the business. This kind of business, you've got to focus on running a great environment that people really want to relax and hang out in, a clean environment. Customer service is significant. People, great customer service, and a great product at a good price. Those are key elements of business. And so constantly we're looking at, okay, how do we make sure we provide these things? Because even that shares something about the good news of Jesus Christ. Just before I move on to the next, as a pastor of the church, what is my role? And I see it as to empower a younger generation of leaders. We have people in here who are all in their 20s and thinking about, how do we empower them to become all that God has for, the purpose and the plan that God has for them? How do we equip them and release them to go and do that?
When I moved to London, I was really keen to get involved in doing some prison work, but there wasn't really any opportunity to do that. So I spoke to Paul about it, and he said that Kahaila would be really happy to support me and empower me to set something up myself. And so from there, I've ended up working in Holloway Prison for about 2 days a week, just mentoring and getting alongside some of the younger women there, helping them in the difficult situations they face and just equipping them with skills to prepare them for when they're back outside.
I'm really passionate about helping women involved in prostitution and find a way out, and Kahaila now pays me 1 day a week to be able to work with those women, particularly in the local area. And we're now looking at opening a new shop with a bakery attached where we can train the women in a new skill that gives them purpose and a new trade and a way of getting an income.
I think the exciting thing is to think about who is God going to bring into the life of Kahaila next, and allowing them to take Kahaila to another place, to another level. I do have vision. I'd like to do more Kahailas, and what they look like will depend on the kind of people that God sends to us and brings to us. Personally, I've become a dad. I have a 6-month-old son. Now, doing services on a Wednesday evening and just being out doing mission on a Sunday becomes a little bit difficult in terms of raising my child in that faith community. So we're thinking about what would another third space look like where young families can come and hang out and relax and get to know other people. So we're thinking about maybe another cafe that has that kind of area for children to come and play and relaxing, and maybe it's not so busy on a Sunday. So who knows where we end up, who knows where we go. I think we're just so grateful to what God has done in the first year here at Kahaila, and we're excited about what He will do in the future. And there's nothing better than sitting in God's provision and knowing that this is what God has called me to do.